are you coming from? So we're about to start soon. Welcome. I see some familiar names. Financial service, wonderful. The link doesn't work. You guys coming without a problem, right, today? Wonderful, biotech. So Fred, most people come from biotech. You guys could already type in some questions about the leadership. What questions you may have. Later we can address the questions. Banker.
I've also promoted Min to panelist, so she's
Okay.
here now.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm using my phone, so not my laptops. I will try to change everything.
Okay, so you cannot really share, right?
Yeah, my Zoom account on my laptop was logged out.
Okay, then you just mute yourself, Greg. You have to go to the slides, right? And the QR code. Okay, anybody does not understand the Chinese? Do you guys prefer the session be English or Chinese? We only have 1 hour, so we try to either. Okay. Amy, how are you? Wonderful. Chinese, either. Chinese. Prefer English. Okay, great. English, but if you need Fred answer questions in Chinese, that's fine too. But if we have some non-Chinese speakers in the audience, then we'll use English. Anyway, we're all from North America, right? Some prefer Chinese, understand. A lot of people already request to me say Chinese.
Should we speak Chinese?
Anybody does not understand the Chinese?
Disagree.
Okay, English.
Uh,
Okay. Because even just the one person does not understand the Chinese, we have to use English. Okay, let's get started. So today is all about leadership. Fred will have many topics in different series to talk about. So Fred, so wonderful to have you here to give us coaching, coaching. You know, from a
Thank you, Kathy.
doctor, you made to the top of the executive. So I want to start to ask you, in your definition, what is leadership? What is leadership about?
Well, in my definition, leadership is from short is a responsibility, obligation, it's a passion. Okay, for long is really is the accountability for success. If you don't have accountability, you don't have successes. There is no leadership. That doesn't call leadership. So leadership is a lifelong story, lifelong lessons. So I really appreciate Kathy for giving me the opportunity to be part of the MyT and to be able to share my career life and a story and a good, bad, ugly experience, and then to the youngsters, and then to the people who are on the horizon, climbing your leadership career ladder to the ultimate goal. I don't have any reservation to tell you my successful story and my failures, and any license that I've learned. Okay.
Yeah, leadership is a very big word, right? So a lot of people start asking, hey, what style Chinese should have to be a great leader in US? So can you comment on that?
Well, in this country, in China, we have 56 nationalities, and in US, I bet there are more than 56. This is immigration countries. Like President Lincoln said, whoever step on the soil, you have the right, right? So we have the equal right, and it's a free country. So no matter you're Chinese, you're Spanish, you're European, you're South American, as long as you're part of this country, you swear yourself and become a citizen of the country, and you are equal opportunity and to be treated, to have your career, to be happy. However, and then there are circumstances that, in the Chinese style, Chinese culture does have specific means to themselves. So to be blended yourself into the industry or whatever the career path you're involved is a challenge. And there's no one size fits all equation. There's no one answer, but it really require you start from beginning with some coachings. It's just like us. That's a privilege you should have, and the advantage you should take, and then try to avoid the zigzags and the big mistakes.
Yeah, we're talking about secret for the leadership advancement. And we're also talking about at MBAs, they don't teach those classes. So can you elaborate on that?
Sure. Nobody can say, hey, this is the Bible for your career. Nobody can do that. And then, there is, as a matter of fact, those celebrities, billionaires, successful career people, they have a different, career path, right? And then most of them didn't go to business school, to an MBA, right? Once you go to MBA, there's a case study, there's a critical thinking, the classes, and then they teach you, once you wanted to become a good leader, you have to think big, right? You have to be passionate, and you have to have a plan, and you have to be decisive, and then you have to be consistency, the persistency, and then you have to be sympathetical and so forth. But how to carry on those big words and then blend it and substantiate it into your daily job, daily life? And now you're living your two lives, home life, your career life, or you're being managerial life, or you're actually down to earth life. So that's really up to you to how to comprehend your position. Okay, so that's why I picked this word, which is I try to figure out throughout my career, which is candor. Okay, I picked this word very in the hard way. Okay, in a hard way. So, and then once I think I'm kind of comprehend about this, the word is lining up inside of me, and it give me a lot of solution to connect all the dots. So finally, it's not finally, it is I retired. So it's right now for 40 years my career, I figure out it is by no means an easy path. So I think never stop learning. I'm still learning. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not easy, certainly. Can you
Mhm.
share a few examples how you use the candor, the word, to
Well,
for your leadership?
candor is not the word, the definition of candor is could be expanded to many directions, like honesty, sincerity, directness, right? Caring. So this is a candor, but as a career person, a leader, and you got to show your style. You got to show your style. This style built on your characteristics, your personality, your demeanor, and then this is the living candor inside of you, right? So the style that you are carry on to demonstrate, to show to your peers, your co-workers, and your team, whomever in the entry-level manager, or mid-level or senior level or C-suite executive. You got to have style to let people, first of all, they want to work with you. They like to work with you. Secondly, they trust you. They trust you. Thirdly, they think while they're working with you, they can build up themselves. So that's from the other side to prove that your leadership style working. I put a five points in the style that's reflecting a living word of candor. The first is structural. Okay, structural. Structural is what to be done during a work and why it has to be done. What standard we use to get things done. Okay, so that is the predetermined goals, very clear. Usually as a C-suite executive, we give company 1 year, 3 year, 5 years goals. And then we have department build KPIs, key performance indicators. And then in order to associate with that goals, so you have to be very clear to give your people structurally about what, why, and what kind of standard to be followed. Second word is participated. Participated. Okay, participated is meaning to have everybody involved. But you cannot just point a finger, hey, Cassie, you do this. Or hey, John, you do this. Smith, you do this. And Claire, you do this. No, you can't do that. You have to care. Okay, you have to care to put them first. You're like a parent. You're like a parent. And then you have to practice care and friendship to let them to not only not afraid of to be involved, but participated. This kind of friendship components which need a time and also caring, dialogue, communication, and respect. So in that case, participated will happen, right? Third is a servant. Servant means, 仆人, 对不对? Servant. Don't think you can be superior than them. Even though you're superior of your employee, you are a servant. Okay, why? Because if you're not served to your team, if you're not served to manage the way to have them clear their goal, to have them maximize their contribution, their thoughts, and you fail. You lose your timeline, you lose your budget, So in that case, you have to be trusted. You have to let them to feel you're loyal to them. You are not only candor, you are the resource. Okay, you're the book. And you're considering what they need to support them. And you are a servant. Number 4 is freedom. Freedom. Give enough freedom to the people, to let them to think unlimitedly, no boundary. Okay, and then let them contribute to the project, to the work, to the program, and to one another. Give them enough room and goal, and then you need handoff, okay, to let them to have a freedom to lead the means of progress moving forward. Finally, is transformational. So your work is not just to fulfill the goal, the KPI, ROIs, companies, you have to manage, P&L, and me always, as a C-suite, always manage P&Ls, right? And I do have a goal of ROI, under the circumstances of COVID, it's hard to meet those goals. But you can't just push them to work overtime. I work hard to meet the goals, and then you forgot what that for, okay? They're coming to work is not just a work, is their life, right? So afterward, you have to have the people that working for you to become visionary, transform themselves to become elevated, lifted, okay? They gain their career path positively, and then they can move on to have ownership of the business. Therefore, you're a good leader. You're a good leader. This is the style that I'm carrying on. It's still not, not perfect, but I try. So to carry the style, candor is the word. I sing the word for my style for many, many years until I find this word. Chinese is 坦诚相待. But if you don't have the quality, you don't have the style, you don't have the trust, you don't have the loyalty, you don't have that foundation built with your people, with your peer, superior, your employees, you can let people to feel your candor. All right, I shut up right here.
No, it's very good. So I want to dig a little bit deeper.
Sure.
So can you give a specific example, as a Chinese American, when you get to the C-suite, and how you behave differently or the same to be accepted, to be acknowledged, to be promoted?
Well, I think my advantage is that I'm a MD, PhD, right? I practice medicine and for many years, and then before I became executives, knowledge base is really really helped me a lot. really helped me not, because to be in the biotech, life sciences, and the pharmaceutical medical device industry, foundation are medicine, medical knowledge, research is just, connecting the dots. That's my my advantage. The second is that I'm a as a doctor, I know how to control myself, put it this way. And sometimes I told my wife, and I only told my wife, and I sometimes I scared myself, because when I see people as a neurosurgeon, a neuroscientist, and then did a lot of neurological, neuropsychological, neuropsychiatry research. So I'm although I'm not certified for psychiatrist, I'm certified for neurosurgery. But I do know psychiatry. And then sometimes I see through people. Okay, I see through people. Once I see people, I know the style of people, and then what kind of people they are. And a lot of people introverted, a lot of people extroverted, a lot of people think differently. And then when they express themselves, and you can pick what the real meaning and purpose behind it. So I now adjust myself, and then to form the dialogue. Thirdly, is you have to be a real person. The real person means you're a family man, okay? And then you have to nourish a lot of the hobbies, habits, like a sports. I'm very athletic as a young people before, and I really love basketball, football, baseball, and then you name it. And I play very well on a lot of balls. And so even though now, yesterday I was watching the Big Four in the college and basketball, so I do have a lot of topics to be engaged with my employees, with my peers, with my American, American co-workers. And then if we talk about the movies, and I pick up those things, And so if you wanted to be American, you work in America, and then you have to be blended into it. No matter how much they accept you, okay? You blend it. You blend into it. Otherwise, you will lose. I won't say the momentum. You will lose something that possibly. I would say possibly. I won't say definitively. Possibly will diminish the quality of your return of your work. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Yeah, I think you made a few great points. Number one, I mean, you are an expert. So many of our students and many candidates, they are PhDs, they're doctors in the biotech, right? But a lot of them kind of stuck, feel like, oh, use my language. How do I switch from a help desk, which is expert, to a decision desk, which is an executive or C-suite to make all the decisions instead of just providing information, right? So that's one challenge many people are facing. And two, you build a lot of hobbies, and you create some easy to have a small talk topics to engage your coworkers, which I also feel, very, very helpful and useful. So while you advance into the C-suite, what challenges you feel as a Chinese American? There's a lot of Chinese American PhDs, right, in the biotech or any other industries. What the challenges or opportunities do you see?
Well, the challenges, I don't know, is that equal challenges to across the board. And that's a C-suite, and there's not too many C-suite even in a big company. In a C-suite is C-suite. C-suite, you're always involved in strategic planning, big decision making, and you have to be accountable. And then once they give you that position, that they can think your races, your race, so that's for sure, Kathy. You're C-suite as well. As part of C-suite, and you have to be accountable. And then but as a Chinese American, and sometimes probably people forget to involve you with you or about some of the opinions. For instance, that's deeply involved in the American culture. They probably forgot to ask you something like that, and yeah, but the advantages, and a lot of companies, advantages, and the Chinese American leadership can provide is that the international impact. A lot of company wanted to move. Now the Chinese is number 2 superpower in the world. Although this trade world, sort of break the bridges, that eventually it's going to be needing together, and American government and Chinese government have to be hold hand in hand and then to work together. But in past 30 years, 35 years, it's already built a lot of relationship, a lot of work over there. And right now, a lot of patents and in China, so produced and derived, so you can't ignore that fact. I think that's the most breaking point advantage that the Chinese American manager can do from different career or different industry across the board, and so that's can spend more time, and try yourself to be part of it. And another thing is so I think it's more like ourselves. We always, I have somebody, and then always told me, as a Chinese American, forget about that. Don't tell yourself, always remind you, I'm a Chinese American. No, you're not Chinese American, you're American, right? You're American. Think about American, for Christ's sake, okay? Think about America like American. Think like a leader. Think like a normal person. Forget about the races. And then, I wanted to tell people, don't remind you, you're Chinese. Okay. If you do this, you're never going to prevail. Remember that. You're never going to prevail. So once you present, Cassie, you always do that, and then your presence within a bunch of Caucasian male executives. So you're female, you're minority female. Have you ever tell yourself, I'm a minority female, I'm a Chinese? No? Yes? You can, right? So you're there, you're obligated, you're paid equal rate to take that job. You're obligated. If you're not doing this, you're not qualified. It's not a racist. It's not, even those, American people, maybe they're in their mind and they look you, you have some English expression issues, the speaking issues, but if they give you that job, they're expecting you perform. They give 110%. Right? I was once on a hill sitting on the Biodefense Committee roundtable. You know that roundtable, 19 people. The roundtable committee member or committee chairman is the Vice President Cheney. And then there's, Senator Richard Byrd, Congressman John Linden, and a big name. None of them has color but me. I never thought about myself as a weird. I always contribute. Because of that, we saved Chinese SARS. During the SARS, we have a 100% diagnostic kit identified immediately. In 7 days, we concurrently validated in US CDC, WHO, USAMRIID, Canadian CDC, and Chinese CDC. And then we send that kit to China. They tested 8,700 positive quarantined SARS patients, and then excluded more than 7,000, more than 7,000 negative, false positive. And then we retained the SARS. And SARS never go out of Beijing, never, right? So when I left that round table, President Cheney said, whenever, wherever you see this man, he speaks, you listen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, you have to give yourself that kind of a confidence when you speak, whoever they are, listen to you. That demands you're solid. You're never fooling around. You are really say what you're gonna do what you said you do. And your candor, your honest, your directness, you're never fooling around. And whenever you said, you get it done.
So it's still the performance, it's a value.
Right. So yeah, you take that job, you perform, you prove yourself.
But the many Chinese feel like, yeah, we perform at work, we drive the value, but how can we advance? Because when I do a project well, I'm giving another project. And when it comes to the promotion, if I don't have a sponsor, I don't get anywhere. So in your experience, how important are the sponsors or mentors?
Well, in my career, look back, I can't believe I'm that old. I never had one time asked myself what kind of a return I wanted to have for this job. What kind of goal, for my personal benefit. Never. It's not go along, come along. It's really do my best. I always give, it's not 200%, it's more than several 100% to what I do. It's a C-suite, and I don't remember during the day job, I could even sit on my computer to respond an email. Every day after 6 o'clock, maybe in the 6:30, so I have a quick dinner and then I come back. There are a bunch of emails and a lot of document to read. So, go to bed after 12 midnight, after 1 or 2, that's almost a routine, okay? One time I heard people said, I'm not going to take the job. And I after I left, and they hired 4 or 5 people for the job I did. I would like to tell that person, please never complain about that. We are full-time, experience. We examined. Okay, you know what exam means. Exam means is exclusively contribute to the job. That's giving you the benefit. You're entitled to have all the employees' benefit, 401ks, life insurance, health insurance, paid holidays. That's exempt. Another word is you need to do whatever, the best in return to a company, right? Yes, we all do, especially startup, entrepreneurs, small company. One headcount really means several, right? So you have limited budget, you have limited headcount, resource, but you have to do maximized work. Take that from different perspective. I'm hired as a say a clinical research manager, but I have to do data management. I have to do a portion of the statistics. I have to do audit. I have to do this. I have to do that. Hey, that's your benefit, right? That's your benefit. And then let's give you the letter. That's the letter to climbing up to the director. If you're a director, you have to be able to read those report from statistical portion, from medical portion, from clinical monitoring portion, from data analysis portion, right? Where those knowledge come from is from your groundwork while you were a senior manager, your manager, right? So that's stepwise. A lot of people think, okay, how long I can be a VP? How long can I be a senior VP, executive, C-suite? Hey, okay, I'm telling you, C-suite only that crown jewels. Only a few people, only a very, very small group of people can be a C-suite. Okay, never thought about it, never think about that. And then as long as you work hard, you give yourself, you contribute yourself, be a candor, build your style, maximize your team's contribution. Your future will be impeccable.
Okay, so I know,
You're freezing.
how could you advance to the top? Can you give one example of what kind of top leader helped you grow, or they identified you, inspire you, and promoting you?
I started very high, actually. My first pharmaceutical industry job is the VP in the fairly large company, the VP, and I manage 5 or 6 departments. Yes, I do have a mentor. I do have some peers that inspire me. At the beginning, I was really agreeing. I was fresh involved in not only in the industry, but not only in the leadership position, but in the industry. I got a lot to learn. But I know I have to learn fast. And my key is really just this word, candor. I've been very honest, very sincere. I have my quality, right? I have my quality, and that's why, and I was given that job, and I have my quality. So while I do my quality job, and that I'm open for everything. So at beginning, and then at beginning, I travel a lot. I travel to many sites. Or is that required or not required? I'll go all over. I go from research to development to regulatory to clinical, marketing, pre-launch, launch, and post-launch, and then I go everywhere. And then I remember that time we acquired Janssen. The Janssen pharmaceutical. It's a backbone right now for Johnson & Johnson for drug delivery, drug development. At that time, Dr. Janssen still alive, and I went there always Thursday, and I come back and on Friday. So just come. One time I came back on Friday, with the tie and the shirt, and I forgot to take that tie off because Friday was a casual Friday. My secretary came in and with Caesar. Said, "What you gonna do?" I said, she said, "Then we're gonna cut your tie and hang up because that's your rule." I made a rule on Friday. Whoever had the tie, my secretary will cut and then hang up. So I became a first victim. I broke. If I say, "Oh no, the Dr. Candor gave me that tie," that was a souvenir, but I didn't insist, and so that was cut. And the one time Dr. Jansen came in, and so, "Hey Fred, that looked like the tie I gave you." I said, "I'm sorry." So I broke the rule. That's what had to be hung up. So yes, and you make a rule, you follow the rule, and then everybody is my mentor. Everybody is my teacher, and I make everybody's. So once you don't want people specifically think they're giving you, they're teaching you, all right? You want people to feel your partner, feel your chaperone. The chaperone in the word, right? Chaperone is a word. You are there really the supporter, and then they cannot do it without you. Actually, you learn from them. So try to do this way. I try to not feel like people feel that I owe them a lot, right? So you don't owe anybody, and as a matter of fact, in return, people don't owe you, even though you give 100, 200, 300% out, right? So I told my employees, and it's not my philosophy, but my end result is always work myself out of job. You know what that means? Is you perfecting people. You're perfecting people. You're having your people really can do a good job, and then you can hands off. So a lot of people saying, "Hey, you can't give that too much. That's your know-how." That's I said, what can I do? I say, "Hey, 1, 2, 3. Save the 4, 5, 6. You figure that out by yourself." I can't do that. But anyway, so yes, you need a peer. One thing. When I was in J&J, there was one big case from FDA, and FDA citation So we're dealing with that, the revocation. So I have to find out the legal help. In Washington, D.C., there's a chairman for food and drug law in a big law firm who used to be the deputy commissioner of FDA in 70s, and who built predominantly and a lot of provisions and legal and the regulations. Her name is Larry Pilot. I started my friendship with him, and since then, almost for 20 some years, we never stop. Every morning, we call each other 6:30. Okay, he's morning person, I'm a morning person. So the reason why we do that for so many years, because we trust each other. We feel we can help each other to benefit from each other, because I'm in the industry. I'm in the leadership in the industry. He's in the regulatory world, and he's a lawyer. He's also used to work for FDA with FDA, and then now he's in the legal side, and sometimes have to point a finger onto FDA and then help the people who had a problem with FDA. So in that case, we're complementary to each other. So we became, and he's about 20 years older than me. So, but we're still friends. We're still friends. I just before this session that we just test each other. He said, "Hey Fred, I got hacked and I got a virus, and then don't open that email that I sent it to you." So yeah. So once you have that kind of a friend, you're blessed.
Yeah, build a powerful network.
Yeah.
That's very, very critical. That's, AFI, Alliance for Impact.
That's only one of them. Only
Yeah,
one.
I know. We work together to help,
Yeah.
especially our Chinese American communities. So for those people who don't know what the MyT stands for, MyT is my teacher. 武士 is powerful, mighty, is also my Tuesday. So every Tuesday, 6 p.m., this time, same Zoom, we have different coaches come up to share the wisdom, to share the learnings. And also, each coach could be part of your personal board of directors. So if you need whatever help, you could go to MyT.Coach to find who could help you in different areas. So now I would like to ask Fred, what kind of areas you think you could coach people who need your mentoring and coaching?
Well, that's a good question. And I'm in the medical and the pharmaceutical biotech. Certainly, whoever in the life science, biotech, and the pharmaceutical medical device industry, could tie it in with me, and then ask a question, and we can do one-on-one, a group coach, and but if you wanted to do career in general, and there's no clear line to draw, and it's all help each other, and then I'll take everybody. I take everybody, and whoever wanted to chat. I learn from you, and I learn from you. I want to chat, and I have questions, so I do. I can help you. For instance, start job searching, interview, negotiation. Become a leader. What should I think as a leader? What kind of a leadership style should build? And then we just talk about that. How can I grow my career? I know today we have over 200 audience. Among that, you may be in a different rank of the managerial position. So how can I grow into next step, and how can we remain a successful leader? So Yeah, so and also in the biotech and the pharmaceutical, and then if you have specific question for your job, for instance, I have some inquiries about, hey, and for this clinical trial, and then they wanted to have open label, and is that it's better on how many interim analysis I needed to build in. Is this can be parallel as co-primary endpoints, or have to primary and secondary. So even that kind of detailed things, you can come to me, and I love to discuss those things. And right now there are a lot of leading compounds in the biotech in the industry, especially biotech is very, very fast, and then so there are regulatory issues, medical issues, and development issues, and FDA issues, and I'm on the inner circle for those things, especially now the COVID. So I'm on the weekly call with CDC, with AHA, and then H and DA. So yeah, I love to involve.
That's great. We have a lot of people coming from biotech industry, and
Sure.
When you advance in the executive level, actually it's across industry, how to deal with top management, how to be visible, how to be credible, right? How to show your servant leadership, and how to build a network. So those are really the wonderful thing. And so now we have a few minutes left. I would like for the students from class 1 to class 7. So MyT.Coach and AFI have effective communication, advance your career. Our class 8 is about to start in May. Greg, can you show the class 8, the flyer? Do you have that? But I would like to ask the students to show 1 or 2 points. What do you like about the class? What do you like about the community? We have over 250 students. So when you sign up the class, you immediately become the VIP member. So VIP member, every week, we have different activities, either have a coach or students to share the experience and to discuss, what to do, how to manage up and down and across, and the network, find great jobs. So whoever is interested, please sign up this class. So I noticed a lot of our class members in the crowd. Can you guys share 1 or 2 points you like about the class? How you would recommend this class? Because a lot of students mentioned, during the pandemic, this is the best network they have found. And also with the AFI and the MyT.Coach, we also build a WeChat. So whoever be interested, join the WeChat group. Thank you. So please scan this. Every Tuesday, we just have 1 hour for the coaching session. And sometimes we will have coaching questions. So just pretty much the coaches come to answer questions. So Fred, in closing, what advice you have for the audience?
Keep trying, never stop trying. You're all great. You're all great. I know you're all great. So whoever can come over, get advanced education, to be working in the wonderful, wonderful industry in wonderful country, you are great. You are great, and I believe you will prevail. And some people will have a very fast track to reach the top, and some of them need a little hard work, but eventually you'll get there. I want to be your friend, your peer, and then your helper. So talk to me and ask me questions, and if I couldn't answer you, and I'll ask my other fellow coaches. We can all help you together. Wish you all luck, and I'm sure we'll see you again many times. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. I know you sit on many corporate boards. Now you're going to sit on a lot of Chinese American personal career board. So to help grow, to inspire.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll finish right on time. So we will stay extra few minutes to answer questions MyD specific or class age. Okay, thank you all. Every Tuesday, we have coaches come to speak, to share. Thank you, everyone. So you can go on www.myD.coach. And Greg, can you put the WeChat code out again? Some people probably did not see it. But Snow is here. Wow, we have a lot of classmates here.